Hi, welcome to Mondays with Marcia. I'm Representative Marcia Judkins, and I was going to tell you about kind of an interesting process that we go through at the end of session. We have what we call fiscal note bills, and those are bills that have a fiscal note, which means that they will cost money to implement. So money has to be appropriated for them. Sometimes it gets appropriated through the budget process, the regular budget process. We also got our budget on Friday that had all of our new money appropriations that have been funded by the the EAC, the Executive Appropriations Committee. And all the rest of the fiscal note bills then are kind of left over, and they can't get passed. They never get through that final passage at the end. We hold them all. The Senate holds all the House bills, and the House holds all the Senate bills until we see if they're going to get funded. And something that's a little frustrating this year is that there's so little money left over to fund all of these bills that we've worked on really hard and that we think are important. And so usually more, well, I'm talking about, like, for me, usually more things are funded in this budget that they hand out. And then usually there's more money they give us more money to kind of play around with at the end. And this year, there's hardly anything. There's $1.5 million ongoing and $1.5 million one time. That might sound like a lot of money. It would be if it's on our bank account, right? But I'll just tell you, so what we do is we get together in the caucus, and this is what we call speed dating. And they give each legislator 1 minute to sell the rest of the legislature or the rest of caucus on funding their bill or bills. And the hard thing is that, it's hard to prioritize all the bills when there's a lot and there's so little money. So they let us choose five bills that we hear there in that speed dating thing and prioritize those. So I have 3 bills that have fiscal notes, but I'll just tell you a little bit about those. I have a special education pilot program that I think is really amazing and fantastic. It uses co-teaching, a co-teaching model, and I think it's really an important bill, but that cost is $5 million. So right there, boom, gone. Can't even advocate for that one because we only have $1.5 million. I have another that's a mental health treatment study that I think will save the state money in the long run, because right now we don't have any good data about all the treatment programs throughout the state, how effective they are, who's being treated, who's not being treated, what the barriers are, and so this would be a treatment study for that. Well, that's $500,000, and so the chances of that getting funded are very slim because that would take a third of the money, a third of the one-time money. But my last bill, and this is the one that I said, please prioritize this, it's only $41,000, and it's an eviction expungement bill that if for a tenant that has had an eviction served, but there's no, like, it was dismissed. They had everything all paid up before the 3 days time, and so it never even became an eviction, right? It still is an eviction on their record, and they have a very hard time finding housing, and so this would automatically expunge that after 120 days. And it's supported by the industries, the different ones, landlords and the renters and everything like that. So I'm hoping it will pass, and then I'm hoping that it will be funded. But it just depends on if people prioritize it or not. And other people have really good bills too that I prioritize that are really important. And I just think it's really sad that I know we have a lot of extra money in the budget that is going to things that are less important than these things that people have worked so hard on. So that's really hard for me. I would invite you to go to Marcia Judkins, do a search for that on Facebook, and I talk a lot more about the whole budget process if you're interested. And also, don't forget caucus meeting next Tuesday night.